Hello friends and neighbors, it's lunch and ukulele time. Okay, ukulele time over. And now I am going to do some reading from my very first novel that I wrote when I was 10. A little bit of background on this story. Like I said, I wrote it when I was in 4th grade. It was a writing assignment, and we had just finished reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So the writing assignment was, imagine that a closet in your house leads to a magical land and write a story about it. So that's the prompt you were supposed to write on, and this is a result of that. I have read this recently. I'm not reading this like for the first time in years like Jesse is. I did read it a few months ago, but it's been a few months, so you'll probably still get some pretty good reactions. So for today, I'm probably just going to read chapter 1. Yes, it's in chapters. Some of the chapters are like this long, but it is in chapters. And we need to turn the phone off before we film. So without further ado, My Volcanic Adventure is the name of this story, and it's written by Michael M. Matthewson. For some reason I felt the need to give myself a pen name, and I also didn't know how to spell Michael. Chapter 1, Rainy Day. It was a rainy, boring, stupid, cheap, rotten, crummy, lousy, and other words that I'm not allowed to say, Saturday at home. I loved my adjectives. The only thing to do was staring contests. I was pretty good, understatement. But even a master gets tired. I was apparently very impressed with my own abilities at staring contests. It doesn't even say who I'm having a staring contest with. Just a staring contest. I'm having a staring contest. With nobody in particular, just a staring contest. Just when I thought my eyeballs were about to fall out, the phone rang. Saved by the Bell. I went to answer it. I never answered the phone when I was 10. Hi, Matt. I just called to say I can't come over today. Why would you do that? It was my best friend, Bob. Great. Well, if there comes a time you can come over, call me, I said. Okay, he said. See you later, and he hung up. Riveting dialogue. Well, this was great. It's days like this that I wished I was dead. Wow, pretty dark for a 10-year-old. I went to my room and plopped on my bed. I had had days like this before, but this seemed really bad. I just lie there for a minute, listening to the rain pattering, my sister snoring. There'll be a few oblique references to my sister, and you'll find out like what sort of attitude we had toward each other. The closet rumbling, ... The closet rumbling? Now, unless we were having an earthquake, closets usually don't rumble. I went in to check it out, and there was a volcano that looked like it was about to erupt. As you can see, my relationship with syntax hasn't changed a whole lot since 4th grade. I didn't want to stay there no longer. What? Okay, my grammar wasn't that bad as a 4th grader. After all, I didn't want to be covered with molten lava, would you? That night when I was going to sleep, the closet rumbled again. In fact, all the closets were rumbling except one. I went in that one by the front door. Inside was a giant beast. At least I think that's he was. Always proofread carefully to make sure you didn't any words out. Either that or a guy that got swallowed by a giant electric razor and spit out again. Wow. Wow, I had a weird relationship with metaphors. He was entirely blue, except his antennae. He had compound eyes, was at least 20 feet tall, and had 8 hairy legs. It had, now I've switched to it had fangs and made a high shrieking sound. I was about to run, but I went inside. No particular reason, I just decided not to run, I guess. If I remember correctly, this is actually the first edit of the story. Like, the first draft of the story was not quite this detailed. And it didn't contain this many typos, obviously. I think I went in, I thought this story was just golden potential, and I decided to go in and make edits and try to pad it out to a regular sized chapter book, and so that's why there's so many things like Bob calling and saying he can't come over and that sort of thing. You will start an adventure, said the beast. Here is what you'll need. He, or should I say it, actually you already did earlier, gave me a backpack. Inside I found a map, 2 canteens of water, food, a rope, wood, cloth. I have some cloth. Wires, 2 knives, an anchor, some metal, and an odd machine that could tell you just about everything. A Deus Ex Machina machine, if you will. Is that redundant to say Deus Ex Machina machine? Then he gave me a gold sword. I should probably point out at this point that a lot of this is influenced / directly ripped off from a game that I played about this time called Companions of Xanth, in which you are given pretty much all of these items that I listed here. Every time you overcome an obstacle, a jewel will appear on the sword. Yeah, that's directly out of Companions of Xanth, and there was actually a reason for it in the game, but there is no rhyme or reason for it here. I asked, what am I doing? Wouldn't we all like to know? You will travel to an island in danger of a volcano about to erupt, said the beast. Wow. Starting at 5 o'clock a.m., you have 12 hours to stop the volcano from destroying my island. When I looked up, it was gone. I walked out and went to bed. Once I was in bed, I nearly fell in a river. Okay. I slept on the floor that night. Oh, goodness. That was chapter 1. I think I'll save the rest of this gem for another time. If you would like to hear the remaining 8 chapters in this story at some point, they're all shorter than that. The phone's ringing. All of the other chapters are shorter than that one. Like, at a certain point, the padding stops because I guess I just got bored with it, and it's pretty much exactly what I wrote in the 4th grade. So all the other chapters are shorter than that one. If you would like to hear them, please let me know. And on that note, I'll see you tomorrow, VEDSies.